Good afternoon, Montessori School of San Antonio family and friends and students. This week's communication is important. We're going to be talking about how our classes and how school is going to move forward after Labor Day. And we're going to be exploring what our remote learning option looks like and trying to get some feedback about that. But also we're going to be looking at how we're going to be transitioning back to face-to-face instruction. Finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about our communication plan and give some updates about some general information. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is face-to-face instruction and how we're phasing that in. But I want to reassure everyone that both options moving forward will be available for the foreseeable future. And for us, from the school perspective and planning, we're looking towards the end of the semester. So the good news is that this week, the City Health Department moved schools into the yellow category, which means that we can open up the schools and start bringing students in. We understand that after Labor Day, there still may be an uptick, and we understand that, various times during the year it will be higher or lower, and our job is to find a balance that accommodates our community in the best way possible. So let's talk about face-to-face instruction. On tomorrow's dispatch, you're going to get a survey. And on the survey, you're going to be asked to elect for the first quarter if you want to return for face-to-face instruction. There will also be a section of the survey where we're going to collect some feedback about how remote learning is going so far. We want to start collecting your input and get your information so that we can, start working that into improving the instruction overall. Once we receive the survey results, teachers will work with their level leads to develop a schedule depending on how many kids sign up for in-person learning. And this may look a little different depending on each level. Look for at least one to completely from remote learning to face-to-face instruction. The schedule will then evolve to meet those needs. So what we want to talk about first is what face-to-face instruction is going to look like after Labor Day. So we are going to start with a phased-in approach. So this phased-in approach allows for a couple of things. The first is that with a limited number of students, we can work through our process and our procedures and do it in a way that provides kind of maximum safety for the entire community, both our students as well as our faculty and staff. Also, it gives the opportunity for everyone who wants it to have some time back on campus and to get back into working with teachers face-to-face. So when are we going to start our instruction? Initially, we had planned to start right after Labor Day on September 8th. However, we're still kind of working through some of our software issues. So basically, School Pass isn't quite ready yet, and so we're going to have to push it back a week. So what does the phase-in calendar look like for those students who choose face-to-face instruction? The week of September 14th is when we begin with upper elementary and 7th grade. Additionally, during the same week, lower elementary will come for one day for an orientation. During the week of September 21st is when lower elementary will begin instruction. The week of September 28th is when 8th grade will begin. And also during the week of September 28th, primary will come for one day of orientation. And then they will begin instruction on October 5th. Just some general information that I think everyone needs to be aware of. So we typically do testing in October. We have not determined how we're going to handle that yet. So we're still collecting information. So if you're thinking about, when it is that we're doing the testing, I'm going to ask you to hold on to that thought and wait until we have the answer. But when we do, we will share that with you. Once everybody's phased in October 4th, then we will relook at the schedule, and we'll look at how we want to kind of move forward, whether we want to move to fully having everybody on campus, or depending on what happens in the city, if we have to go back to remote learning. So throughout this phased-in approach, and even really through the rest of the year, we may have to go back to remote learning for everyone at some point, depending on what happens in the city and also what happens on our campus. I want to kind of go to a more fundamental place. There are a lot of unknowns, and every new piece of information, has to kind of work through the process before we can incorporate it into kind of policy and what we're talking about with our parents. And we really do appreciate your patience. But our teachers are incredibly important, and they have to, have an opportunity to kind of give voice and adjust, to the plans that we're making. And depending on the piece of information, it can be a small tweak or can be something that makes us have to kind of go back to the drawing board in regards to our planning and start all over. So where we start is a place where I think we can all, connect to, which is everyone, right? Our parents, our faculty, our administration, our board, we're all working to the best interests of our kids. And really, we're all kind of focusing on that as the place that we kind of move from. We're trying to do it in a way that looks and feel as Montessori as possible. And that's our common and shared understanding. And I have noticed, at least a lot of the communication that's come back to me from parents, that everybody is on the same page with that. And so when we're all kind of focusing on that, and we all understand that we're in this together for the long haul, it really kind of opens up communication in a way that's very productive for the entire community. So first of all, I do want to express my appreciation for that. And also, there are going to be times, there can be times when the school may feel a little bit unresponsive. We try and get back with all our emails within 24 hours or phone calls, but I do want to kind of put this charge out there, right? So if you need registration information or admissions information, contact Maru Galarza, our admissions director. If you want to know about program and schedules, then contact our program director, Teresa Powers. If you need to get information about marketing or communications, obviously go to our marketing and communications person, Jocelyn Durand. Questions about bills and finance and financial aid, go to our business office and go to Elizabeth Holland. Having said that, if you put out something, if you make a phone call or an email and you're not getting a response, you can always reach out to me personally. You can call me and you can contact me through email, and I will get back to you and at least close the loop and let you know that we received your message. Now, my answer may be I don't have an answer yet, and we'll get back to you when we do, or and again, in this situation, there are going to be times where I don't have an answer yet. But if I do, I can answer it, and what I promise is that I will at least reach out, and so that you'll know that your message, that somebody got your message and you were responded to. I really do hope that you will reach out, so that you'll call the person individually that you want to talk to, and if you can't get a hold of them, that you'll come talk to me. Because again, as I said previously, I really do feel that this community has bonded together, and we are in this together. And to the degree that we can use grace and courtesy and be patient with each other and ask our questions in a respectful way and move forward, all of us with a similar understanding that we're working with the kids' best interests as our central and our focal point, I think we're going to be able to manage this crisis and every other crisis in the future incredibly successfully. I can say that so far I feel like things are moving forward in a positive direction, and I hope that that's the experience that you're having as well. So in closing, remember the survey is coming out tomorrow. It's really important that everyone fill out the survey. We need to get feedback from you regarding how our remote instruction program is going, and also your election to whether you want to stay in remote learning or begin face-to-face instruction. There will be information detailing the conversation I've had today about how the remote instructional plan is going to look. And you're going to be getting a video again that talks a little bit more about our safety procedures and some of our precautions. I'm really looking forward, along with the rest of the faculty, to seeing your kids back on September 14th. As I've toured the school and seen the teachers back on campus, seeing them kind of work towards normalized schedule with their Zoom lessons, the energy is incredibly positive. And I think when people come back, I think they're going to notice that. And I hope that you're noticing it now in your remote instruction. Thank you very much.